Welcome to Mental Health Matters. I'm Barbara Meyers. On today's show, we'll be talking about a unique program for training peer specialists in Alameda County called BestNow. Jamie Works-Wright is the program coordinator for BestNow. She has had lived experience with mental health problems personally and in family members. She came into the field after working with children with disabilities. She now focuses on providing training and support for consumers interested in mental health settings working as peer specialists. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you.
Our next guest is Jeffrey Caiola. Jeffrey is a graduate of BestNow. He's now working as a recovery coach at Choices Learning Center in Alameda County. Welcome, Jeffrey. Pleased to have you both on the show. Jamie, I'd like to talk about BestNow. Could you tell us what the purpose of the program is?
Well, the purpose of the program is to pretty much train peer specialists, individuals with lived experience. We try to enhance the skills that they already possess and make it into being a more, to be more productive in the community. We try to offer a hope and talk about self-awareness, self-determination. We talk about vocational development as well as peer support.
What makes BestNow unique in terms of, why is it one of the best?
Well, I think because we specifically focus on with mental health consumers, we gear the training to be specifically designed to individuals who are interested in working in the mental health field.
And why is peer support so important?
Because it's the sharing of mutuality.
Yeah.
It's about being someone who has that experience, who's lived it, and then giving it to someone else.
Yeah, isn't that always the case? That you might be you would be more likely to listen to someone who's actually been through the experience than somebody else telling you what to do.
Yes, it's a better connection.
And I guess I wanted to ask the same question to you, Jeffrey. Why do you think peer support is so important in mental health recovery?
Well, like Jamie said, like you said, you have more credibility.
Yeah.
You can, when the person shares something with you and you say, "I understand how you feel," they have a reason to actually believe you.
Yeah.
It's like walking the walk and talking the talk.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why I think peer support is important.
Well, I'm a believer too. I just wanted to make sure to get that
yeah.
in. Could you tell us a little bit about the program format for BestNow?
Yes, the format is now a 6-week training and then a 6-month internship. Well, actually, we have two different components. We have the peer specialist training, which is the 6 weeks, and the 6-month internship, and then we have workshops, which is separate from the training, and it's called Set for Success. And in the past, the training was a 6-month in-class training and a 3-month internship. And since we compacted the training, there were still components that we wanted to have people to have access to in the community. And so the Set for Success workshops focuses more on pre-employment as well as with wellness, recovery.
So what are some of the things that you teach in classroom work?
And within the classroom, we focus on 3 different modules where we talk about the local mental health system. We bring in experts from Alameda County to like the adult system of care, children's system of care, family. We bring in the pioneers from the consumer movement and talk about the history of the movement. Then we go into another module of engagement, and that's where we discuss basic counseling skills, a lot of engaging, observation. We also talk about documentation and confidentiality and boundaries. And then we move into an employment prep as well, and that we do more documentation. We talk about cultural awareness as well as patient rights, and then learn about the ADA.
Yeah, that sounds very thorough and maybe even intense,
Yes.
So that's quite impressive to get that body of information across.
Yes.
And then for the internships, what kind of places do people go for internships?
Well, we have worked with a lot of CBOs within Alameda County, as well as the Alameda County.
And the CBO is a
community-based organization.
Right.
We've worked with BACS. We have we're Head Co-House, Casa de la Vida. We've Telecare Villa Fairmont and Telecare Choices. We've also, within this year, we have had the consumer relation team from Alameda County come and show that they're interested in taking an intern as well.
Okay.
So
that's
we
great.
Get a lot of support from the community.
How many people go through the program at a given time?
No more than 25.
Okay.
Yes, I think in past years they had 35, and it was very, very hard. So we try to take no more than 25 people.
So it sounds like you have a lot of guest speakers that are experts in various different parts of mental health care that you have come. That's really special.
Yes, we get a lot of support, and it is very important to bring in experts rather than try to do the training where we're not skilled in certain areas. So we want people that come through the training to have the firsthand knowledge from someone who's working in that field. Right.
You also, I think, part of your program is helping people to take care of themselves and learn how to do that. You know, self-assessment, so they're aware of situations that might be, you know, if they start getting to a ragged edge, you know, they know how to handle it.
Yes, it's so important to take care of yourself, because how can you not be well and try to help someone else?
Exactly, and then it's just giving good role models to the people that you're working with too.
So yeah, we do focus on making sure we maintain that wellness. We encourage individuals to get involved in RAP with peers as well. So
what kinds of places do people go and work after they graduate? Or what, I guess I'm asking about what happens after people take the class.
We encourage in helping them find employment. We also have a graduate program where we make sure we support, we call, we check in, we help update resumes. But a lot of our people try to find positions as peer specialists as well. You know,
and we'll be talking with Jeffrey later about that. So how do you pick people to be in the program?
Well, it's a kind of a lengthy and intense process, but what we do is we make sure we send out notices to the community-based organizations as well as the county to let them know that we're recruiting. We hold an informational orientation for people to come, because that is the first step. We want people to be aware of what they are getting involved in and about the training before they even apply. Once they come to the informational orientation, then they will receive an application. And then we bring in our graduates to come help us review all the applications. We want people who have had the experience of going through the training to help us with the selection process. And then
that's pretty unique, I think.
Yeah. And then we do interviews, and the graduates help with the interviews as well, and that's how we make our selection.
I know this has been going on for several years. Do you know how many total people have gone through it?
It's over 200, over about 220.
Okay.
Yeah, 220 have graduated, and we did, as we called and checked in to see about where our graduates are, where they are earlier this year, and about 60 are employed somewhere, not always within the mental health system, but they are working, volunteering, or even going to school. They're doing something. So
nice work.
Thank you.
So I'd like to now talk with someone who's had experience with being a graduate of BestNow, Jeffrey. So first, congratulations on completing BestNow and for starting a successful career after you're done and being so helpful to other people. So that's really admirable.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask you a little bit about your story, sort of what brought you to your hospitalization and diagnosis, and what your path has been since then.
I had been working from the time I was 19 very effectively and productively, and I worked until I was in my early 50s, and then I lost my job. started to isolate, had gotten through a 10-year cocaine addiction during which I was self-medicating. I didn't realize that's what I was doing at the time because I hadn't been diagnosed yet. But I did isolate. I did become suicidal. My suicide attempt failed. I got hospitalized. I got diagnosed. I got put on the proper medications, and I am so fortunate that they got the right medications early on, so I stabilized quickly. And while I was getting my services put in place, I was able to follow what was happening to me. So when I finally came out the other side, I got services at Bonita House, where I'm still a client now. I have housing through them. I got services from Oakland Homeless Project, from BOSS, from a lot of different community agencies. I realized I was very fortunate in my timing because I didn't come into the system until 2004, and the Mental Health Services Act had just been passed. So there are a lot more resources available that had not been available before. I didn't have to get warehoused or waitlisted or left on the streets, so I am very grateful for that. I decided I wanted to be able to give back to the mental health community and help people. I realized that I was aware of the process that I went through, and a lot of people are not when they first get into the mental health care system because they are just getting medicated for the first time, and it might take them a while to stabilize. So I wanted to be able to help other people navigate the system. And having been through it recently, I thought that would be something I'd like to do. Now, the bipolar support group I go to, having been a reference librarian in the past, I handle the literature there. It's something I like doing. And I also like being a resource and sharing with people how to navigate the system. But eventually my information became outdated because, as you know, agencies close down, funding gets cut, the names change, phone numbers are disconnected, and so people get very frustrated trying to find services.
So how did you find out about BestNow?
Through my bipolar support group.
Oh,
Somebody there said, you know what,
research.
you'd be a natural for the bipolar support, for the BestNow program.
Oh,
so
okay.
I couldn't get it in the first year because Jamie said they only take 25 people, but I persevered, which is one of the things you do in your recovery. And I continued to doing other things. I volunteered at Red Cross, and I worked a part-time job, and then I applied the next year, and I got in. And so I wanted to update, like Jamie was saying, they bring in these specialists to fill you in on what their agencies will provide.
So you just got the latest.
And I wanted, I wanted to soak up all those resources so I could go back and share them with people.
So what role did peer support play in your recovery?
The peer support that was most important to me was when I went to my bipolar support group. I certainly enjoyed my time when I could share with the group, but what was more valuable to me was when people responded to my feedback by thanking me and telling me how much it meant to them and how it was helping them, because all of a sudden my self-esteem started to build.
Exactly.
My self-worth started to improve.
Sort of like it improves both.
It's mutual, and it's like it's a win-win. It's like by helping them, I'm helping myself.
Right.
And what I was doing was I was getting back to the same kind of work I'd always done, because I worked in service kinds of jobs, but they had been more task-oriented. This was more people-oriented. And also, a lot of my job skills at that point in my 50s were obsolete. And I had to wonder, what do I have to offer? And I was thrilled that BestNow was there, and now there's a new pilot program that actually pays me to model healthy recovery behavior.
When you actually took the class, what parts of it did you find best? I mean, it sounds like you got a lot from the experts that came, just learning about what's going on and stuff.
I did. I know for most of my classmates, the focus was finding their voice, as Barbara Lewis Clark would say. That was her mantra. And early on in the program, maybe 2-3 weeks into the program, she'd call me over and said, "Jeffrey." I'm like, uh-oh, what did I do? And I said, yes. And she said, "I just wanted to tell you, you've been an inspiration to the class." I said, "It's only been 3 weeks." And she says, "Yes, but you have a voice and you use it." And she said, "I want the rest of the class to find their voice. And it's great that you keep raising your hand to answer questions, even if you don't get it right, because they need to see that too." And I said, "Oh." So she said, "I want you to keep doing what you're doing." I said, "No problem." So that was very gratifying to me, and it let me relax And the thing that, because I already had a voice, what was most beneficial to me personally was the resources I was gathering, and also it was the beginning of being a peer support to my classmates, you know, helping them. I had resources that I would share with the class, and in the beginning, a lot of them didn't seem to be comfortable approaching me, and I finally had to really emphasize that I am approachable. It's like, you know, just come on over during breaks and ask me, and then more people started doing it.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
So tell us what you're doing now.
Now I'm in a pilot program called Choices, and I work at the Learning Center as a recovery coach, which is what they call us after, even though we're peer support specialists, we have gone through a training that this particular program set up, and we are called recovery coaches. And what we do is we are consumers, just like the people that we help. We don't have credentials of any kind, and we come alongside them. We emphasize mutuality. We try and explain to them that, like we were saying earlier, that, you know, we walk the walk and we don't just talk the talk. And hopefully we want the partners to feel like it's a safe place where they can share things that maybe they don't want to share with their clinicians or their case managers. I emphasize to them that we don't have the kind of control over them that people in the mental health care system do. So if there's something you're afraid to say to them, try sharing it with us. And I tell them I would have loved to have had a recovery coach myself when I first came into the system.
What a gift that is to people. I mean, that's just...
Yeah, they're very comfortable and pleased with it. Some of them take to it faster than others, but you just, you know, they're people who clearly have been stigmatized and they have trust issues, and so you just give them time and you be gentle and let it develop.
Is there something specific that you can point to in the classroom that helped you in the work that you're doing now?
Yeah, the being able to support people and, you know, and sit there and be mutual and develop listening skills.
Right.
Because I'm a talker, but, you know, I've learned to be. My meds have helped because now I don't talk quite so compulsively, so I'm happy about that. It makes people around me be more receptive to what I have to say, and I'm more comfortable sitting and just listening to the other person and to what they have to say.
Yeah. So, do you keep in touch with your BestNow classmates at all?
Yeah, it's not hard because half a dozen of them are working with me in the Choices program.
I see.
And so, and there are a couple others that I talk to on the phone from time to time.
Yeah, so I can see how this would be a real bonding experience.
Oh, it was. Yeah. It was. And the other neat thing about the BestNow program was there were different levels of functioning of the people who came into the program, and so it wasn't a competitive academic situation at all. The whole point was, you know, a rising tide lifts all ships, and they wanted us to help each other out, you know, and to really start to cultivate that peer support, and they did a great job.
That's good. He really makes a good advocate for the program. Yes, is the experience that Jeffrey has had typical of what people come away with the program with?
We like to think so. Yeah, a lot of people come away with a lot of experience and being able to connect and feel like they have a voice now. Yeah. We see a lot of transition within our training where some people have come in, didn't talk, didn't drive, and then at the end you can hear they're advocating for themselves as well as getting around, attending meetings, just getting involved. You know, and that's one of the main things that we like to do. I've
seen in the place that I work with mental health clients, we've had a couple of people come in as graduates, and I could really see, you know, their self-confidence and their ability to try to take upon themselves to define what they want to do with their lives and stuff. So that's so important. That's really commendable. The program is pretty intense and demanding, and many of the people that have been in the program have not had a lot of expectations in their lives. And I was wondering, how do you keep the participation up among the people that are there?
We do a lot of community building. We create a buddy system where they are responsible for connecting once a week or more than once a week. We create a buddy system where they share journals. We do a lot of role play. We do potlucks. We try to create a community of learners and support because we want them to have the experience of that peer support in the training before they go out and work in the community.
So what if somebody has a mental health crisis during, sometime during the period, how do you handle that?
We support them. We all are consumers, so we know how to provide some support and be there. There has been in some cases where it's extreme and they decide that they need to opt out of the program for the time being. And what we do is we support that process as well. We stay connected and we let them know when the next training is going to be available, and we encourage them to apply. They have some almost an automatic back in. We make sure that they go through the process, and we make sure that we check on their wellness and make sure that they're in a good place to complete it, because we want to make sure that everyone completes the training at some point. So,
what if someone is listening to this show and thinking about, gosh, maybe that might be for me? How would they find out about it and make an application to the program?
Well, they can call our office. The number is 510-383-1605.
Okay, we'll put that up on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have a website at this time, but they can call. I call people back, and we can put them on our list of people who are interested. And when we start our recruitment, we make sure we send out a mailing as well as emails to people who are interested, and we go through the process that way.
So how many trainings per year do you do?
Well, this last class, the peer specialist training, is our first pilot of a 6-week training and a 6-month.
Okay, so it's been changing since it first started.
Yes, yeah. So typically in the past, we've only had one a year because it was 9 months total. And so we are looking to hopefully have 2 a year now, so we can have more people, because of the training is only 6 weeks. But we do support people while they're in their internship for the 6 months. We still do a seminar class, so for ongoing training. So we want to support the people that are graduating, as well as we want to start the recruitment for the next go-round as well. So hopefully we'll have 2 a year from now on.
And you have an orientation program as part of that process? So people would come and learn about it?
Yeah, the informational orientation.
Right.
Yes, we do hold that.
Okay.
Just so people are aware of what are the expectations.
Yeah.
In fact, they hold several of them because there's so many people.
Yes, we do. We do. We'll typically do about 5 in-house on our site, and then we will go to different agencies to present to some of their clients as well. So we've been, last year we went to Highland Hospital as well as Villa Fairmont to do a presentation on site.
Do the students, as you're going through a class, do they motivate each other in any way, or is it more, I guess I'm trying to figure out if there's a lot of interaction or if people are sort of sitting there?
No, it's very interactive. It's not your typical classroom. Like I said, we do a lot of role play. We do a lot of buddying up. We encourage groups. We even encourage, they get projects where they have to do groups, work in groups and report. So yeah, it's a lot of engaging, because that's where we want them to gain the experience. So
that's what
Jeff
I was going to mention, the projects that we had to do as teams. We get assigned as teams.
Can you give an example, what kind of project that you did?
The one that comes to mind is we all got hypothetical clients that we had to try and provide services for. So we had to go out into the community, depending on whether our client was an Asian or whatever the demographic was, and go to the proper places and try and get services for those clients. And we discovered how difficult it was to get through sometimes, and how you had to really be persistent. And some of the places, when they found out it was just a class exercise, it made it especially difficult to get them to cooperate with you, because they wanted you to produce the actual client before they would help you sometimes. So we ran into some difficulties. Tenacity, you've got to learn it, you've got to go through it, and you have to. Then it makes you much more empathetic.
And that's something that a lot of consumers don't have, because of being wounded in the past. So that's really a gift.
But and it's the case study vignette that he's talking about, and the reason why we do the group projects is because when they're working in facilities, there's a lot of the makeup is of teams. You work on a team, and so to have that experience in the class firsthand and how to collaborate and you know, work together and come up with a plan.
And some of them may have not have had that.
Yes.
That's
So,
right.
okay.
It's learning those team building skills, as they say. You know,
Thank you for the great program that you're doing, both of you. You know, to feel a gift to the community. I'd like now to challenge those of you who are watching in the audience. Do you know of someone who you think might be a good candidate to be in a BestNow class? And if so, I'd like for you to think about that individual and what you learned in today's program, and then decide how you might want to encourage them to give Jamie a call and find out more about it and see if it's maybe for them. And this may be for someone that you know, or it may even be you. Now I'd like to give some resources. The contact number for BestNow, Jamie said it earlier, I'll say it again, 510-383-1605. The email is bbestnow@aol.com. The place where Jeffrey works right now, Choices, if you're interested in possibly checking that out, you should talk about this with your case manager, because that's how the referrals come to his organization. There's also a couple of books I'd like to recommend for you if you want to do some reading on peer programs. The first is On Our Own Together, Peer Programs for People with Mental Illness, and it's by Sally Clay. The second one is Common Threads, Stories of Survival and Recovery from Mental Illness, and that one you can get online, and the address is on the screen. It's info@floridapeernetwork.org. I'd like to thank Jamie and Jeffrey.
Thank you.
And I'll close with these words from the Reverend Wayne Arneson. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.